Hello, I'm Regina Botras, and this is Backstage, where we talk with the who's who on stage, in dance, comedy, and performing arts, speaking with the leading theatre makers of our times and how they came to the stage and what drives them and inspires them. Well, I'm joined by the award-winning creator of Fangirls, Yve Blake. She's back with her new work, Mackenzie, which is a twisted and hilarious reimagining of Shakespeare's Macbeth. It's on for Bell Shakespeare, and it's directed by Virginia Gay. It's got original songs, and she's here to tell us all about it. Welcome to Stages, Eve.
Thank you so much for having me, Regina. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm very excited to find out about this production, this twisted Macbeth. Who is Mackenzie?
Diva, let's get into it. Mackenzie is a 13-year-old girl in 2006, and she is a child actor who dreams of superstardom, but she's stuck in the background on the world's biggest kids show. And then she's got her best friend Beau, just like Macbeth had his bestie Banquo. Mackenzie's got Beau, and then their lives are turned upside down when a substitute makeup artist visits set for the day, and she is struck with a vision, and basically chaos unfolds.
So we are aligning with Macbeth. How closely are we following this sort of the plot line, I suppose?
Well, it's so interesting, right? I thought if I'm going to adapt Macbeth, why do that loosely when it's such a banger for a reason? So I've actually been extremely faithful to the structure. You know, here and there, I've cut a thing or two. The Porter scene is gone. There's a lot of sort of extraneous background randoms in Macbeth that I was able to sort of streamline into a couple of guys. But honestly, I'm really proud that, you know, if you are a teacher and you're trying to get teenagers to care about Macbeth and you're
Yes.
trying to teach them about the key moments, I guarantee you, we have faithfully adapted all of like the
Right.
absolute key turning points and a lot of the very famous soliloquies too.
Oh, really? Oh, fantastic. What
Yeah.
fun. So, unbridled ambition. She wants to be a star.
Yeah, she wants to be number one pop girl of the world, Regina. That's the goal and nothing less.
Well, who doesn't? I don't know. At least my 13-year-old self does.
Well, I just thought, you know, the original Macbeth, he wants to be King of Scotland. What a goal. But I can't relate to that. And I don't know one person who wants to be a monarch, but I think we all know someone who wants to be famous. And we all know what it's like to desire attention in that way, you know, even in the deepest part of ourselves. So it was really fun actually to make this adaptation and go, hold on, I've always loved this play. And now, gosh, I can make it about child stardom. Who hasn't gone on a Wikipedia rabbit hole about a child star at least once, you know? So that's been really, the research process was very fun
Oh, that sounds like lots of fun. What did you find out about,
about child
previous
stardom.
child stars? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Regina, we don't have long enough. I could talk your ear off about child stars that I've learned about. Do you know Aaron Carter was cheated out of $30 million by his parents? Did you know that Kiki Palmer was the sole breadwinner of her five-person family, age 10? I could go for days. I'm really obsessed. And I think perhaps I've always been obsessed with child stars because they have a mythic quality, don't they? You
Yeah.
know, I think the reason that we culturally continue to return to them is that we're as obsessed with their rise as we are with their fall. And watching them age, you know, those articles that say you'll never guess what this child star looks like now? I've always been so interested in that. What is that in us that wants to watch people age and expire and fall? And I suppose Mackenzie's actually a bit about that, Regina. It's me going, gosh, how can I sort of talk about the goblin inside of all of us that's a bit ageist and that has believed this sort of received story that to age is to expire and that power lies in youth. So, you know,
Mm.
Mackenzie is really me kind of dissecting that goblin inside of us all.
I love it. And it sounds a bit like, I mean, I've never really thought about it that, I mean, I've thought about it obviously being a woman, but that transition from childhood to adulthood and the coming of age, there's like this sort of before and after and this
Yes.
line, right?
Yes, and I love that you bring up how you've thought about it as a woman because you know it's very intentional that I make Macbeth a young woman. Because actually, Mackenzie starts and she's 13. But as we all know, Macbeth becomes king. And in Mackenzie, when that happens, we do a 5-year time jump. And so we are now looking at an 18-year-old girl who is a extremely famous, but she's 18 and she's famous for being a child star. So now she has to cross that famous bridge from child stardom into adult stardom. She
Mm.
has to suddenly become a sexual pop woman. And that was really interesting to write about, right?
Mm.
Because Macbeth, he becomes king and then he's terrified he'll be dethroned. He's terrified that it will not last. And so it was so interesting to explore all the beats of that story against a character who is an 18-year-old woman in the spotlight and who was asking herself, how do I stay here? How do I not expire? How do I make sure people don't tire of me and dispose of me?
I love this. Gosh, when did you come up with that moment that it was had to be a child star?
Honestly, some ideas, they just land on your head like bird shit. They just sort of fall out of the sky. But I think when that happens, it's because you sort of have some deep kind of quagmire in you that's been thinking about something at a low hum for a long time. So
Mm.
it's interesting because, I wrote to Mackenzie shortly after, my musical Fangirls had opened in the UK, which was such an extraordinary privilege. And that musical sort of did things I never imagined it could do. This musical um, was on in Australia 3 times, toured the country, went to the UK, and I was proud of that. But when that show first came out, I was in my mid 20s, and people would congratulate me on it, but they would say it in the same breath as congratulating me for being so young while doing it. And so, Regina, I think that when I wrote Mackenzie, I was actually sort of doing battle with this sort of this fear inside of me, which is that, if
Mm.
I'm no longer this little girl that could, will anyone want to see my work anymore? And will people attach my age to my value? And so I think that little fear that was simmering in my subconscious sort of like erupted into this adaptation.
Ah, that is it. Oh my gosh. And how,
We've all been
wow.
there, right? Like
It's
I
amazing.
think
Yeah.
everyone's had that thought at least once, which is, have I done enough by my age? Is it too late for me to do everything I want to do? Will people function, like basically, will people care about me less and the things that I do less if I do them at an older age? And I wanted to talk about that.
Or am I a one hit wonder and I've done one great thing and that's it?
Bestie. Yeah, bestie. Let's get into it. Very that.
Totally. So, how did you decide, like, on the songs and you know, what are they? What are the songs in terms of
No,
content?
of course. Well, I love that you asked that because as soon as I decided that I wanted Mackenzie to be a child star, I quickly thought, well, why not make her a child star in 2006, which is sort of, I think, the golden age of the Disney Channel, right? In 2006, Hannah
Ah.
Montana premieres, High School Musical premieres. This is a key moment in culture. So I decided to set this story in that time. And then it followed. Gosh, if the characters in this world are child stars at that time, that means they're going to be singing some of the silliest songs, extremely catchy songs, but where the lyrics are exclusively about reaching for the stars and dreaming your dreams. And so just
Oh.
realizing that I had sort of picked a world and an environment where it would make sense for people to sing these like fake tween pop songs. I was like, ha ha ha, it's Christmas for me, Regina. That means I get to write some of the silliest songs of my career. But it's great. Like the work is very anxious and adrenal. And so it kind of makes sense that this world has got like a beat behind it. And by no means is this a
Mm.
full-blown musical, but it's been
Mm.
really fun to make it a play with songs that has, yeah, these moments of intense energy and this music that feels deeply nostalgic.
Mm. And so you mentioned the soliloquies. Are you using some of the original soliloquies? Is that my understanding?
Yes, but I'm really excited for people to see how we've adapted them. Because, of course, in Shakespeare, people always are breaking the fourth wall and going into soliloquy and letting you into their head. And
Mm.
in this adaptation, we actually don't break the fourth wall, but the way that we accomplish these soliloquies is without giving too much away, we take a slightly different tack. but I think we still hit each of the beats. You know, it's in the original play, those are moments where you get to look inside of Macbeth's head and you get to see like the incredible turmoil he's experiencing. And I am really proud to say, like, I think we still accomplish all of that impact. We just take a slightly different avenue, but I don't want to give too much away.
Okay, okay. And blood. Will there be blood?
Well, you know what's so interesting? Macbeth is famously full of deaths. And so, similarly, Mackenzie thwarts a lot of her enemies, but the way that she does it isn't always exactly as in the original play. And I'm really excited for people to see how we've interpreted what death can mean in a world that is entirely about reputation and relevance. So, there is one actual death that remains in the story. I won't reveal who, but I'm really excited for people to see the honestly quite naughty way that we have interpreted what it means for Mackenzie to take out her enemies. It's one of my favorite parts of the adaptation, and also one of the parts I feel so eager not to spoil for people because it's really fun hearing the squeals whenever audiences see what we've done.
Well, I am certainly looking forward to squealing and being part of the audience. Thank you so much, Eve. It just sounds fantastic,
Oh,
fun.
thanks, Regina. I'm so excited. And I can't believe we have Virginia Gay directing this production. I mean, everyone already knows she's a genius if you got to see her show Cyrano or if you've seen her act in literally anything. And it's wild as her close friend to go, oh, and you're even better at directing? How is that possible? I'm really excited.
And an amazing cast. I mean, I will mention them at the end as we go out, but fantastic from all kinds of musical stages.
Thanks, Regina.
Yve Blake there, and oh, yes, Mackenzie coming to our stages. What a terrific cast. As I said, Kimberly Hodgson from Miss Saigon and Fangirls, and Nikki Britton from How to Stay Married, Deadlock, as the mother. Also joined by Ryan Gonzalez from In the Heights and Moulin Rouge, the musical, Billy Palin from Once and Calamity Jane, Anusha Thomas from Hamilton, and Jane Watt from War Crimes. Look, stellar cast. Sounds like a stellar show. Get along to Mackenzie. It's previewing from the 6th of June and opening from the 11th of June to the 18th of July at the Nielsen Nutshell. That's Bell Shakespeare's home.